Hello, my friends. This is Dr. Ginny Baro, and good morning. Welcome to this training today, where I want to help you and support you by helping you create a structure that is going to benefit you in getting things done this year. I know it's already weeks into the new year, and you would think, wow, what happened? This past few months just flew by. And so, one of the biggest challenges that clients I support and individuals that I connect with to conduct some of my complementary strategy sessions is that they struggle to create the right structure that's going to help them get things done. So, the number one thing that's required is clarity. What is it that is meaningful to you this year? And we talked about in so many of the trainings about getting clarity around what you want to do, because otherwise we're just wasting our time. We really are floating like a feather. We're not anchoring on what is meaningful that will make a significant impact in that outcome that we want. So that's number one, get clarity around what you want to create in the next 12 months. And then after you have that clarity, what typically gets in the way from my experience working with clients is that we tend to be very loosey-goosey about how we get it done. And when you go through any of my programs, even the trainings and keynotes that I deliver, I always have a call to action that includes execution. If we don't plan to execute on the ideas that we have, that is all we're going to have, ideas. So what is it that I'm recommending to you today in this training? If you're one of my clients, you have heard me say this so many times before, which is it's not enough for us to understand what we need to do. It's not enough that we are clear on what it is that we need to do. It is imperative that we schedule it. And that's the structure that supports us to get it done. So I'll give you an example. One of my friends and colleagues reached out to me this past weekend and said, Ginny, would you be open to writing the foreword for my new book? And I said, congratulations. And then the next question I asked her was, what is your time frame? Because I knew that if she gave me a time frame that I couldn't meet, I would not be able to accept the honor to write her foreword. So my first question was, when is the deadline? And the second one was, how long is the book? And the reason why I asked those two questions was so that I could assess, can I get this done for her? And let me give you this as a tip of what I do whenever I have something I want to accomplish. And the same thing goes when I'm speaking in my personal life, for example, with my mother, and we say, oh, let's do X. But then my next question is, by when? And so the reason why it's so important to come up with a deadline is that you can then reverse engineer the tasks you need to accomplish to have that done. In the case of my friend's request, she wants me to have it done by the end of the month, the following month. So I'm going into my calendar, I'm going to create slots of time I'm going to ask my assistant to help me create slots of time when I can dedicate to reading her transcript to write her foreword. Likewise, another friend had asked me to read his book, and I'm halfway through. I'm still working my way through it after giving him some feedback already on the book. The way that I get things done is by reverse engineering and backtracking into the deadline. And so for you, what is that? When you say to yourself, I want to go after a certification, I want to get promoted, I want to learn a new skill, whatever that may be for you, reflect and notice, how am I going after that? Am I just talking about it, which is the first stage to talk about it, get clarity around it? Then the next part is to ask yourself, why is this important to me? How meaningful is this for me? The reason why you need clarity around the meaning and how significant this is for you is that if your why for doing the task, for doing that assignment is not important enough for you, you're not going to prioritize it. And so many times we find ourselves committing to things that we are not really committed to. We find ourselves saying to ourselves, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to work out, I'm going to read this book. And it just doesn't happen. And the reason why it doesn't happen is not so much that you're not capable or that you don't have the resources. What usually happens is that you don't have the structure to give you the consistency to help you win in that particular area. So to that end, I want to help you create that level of consistency. And you have heard me talk about consistency quite a bit. And there's a reason for it, because I keep seeing people struggling with not having enough consistency in their lives to accomplish what they say they want to accomplish. So there's two things that happen. When we are able to say we're going to do something and then we follow through, number one, you're going to increase your self-leadership. Your confidence will go up because you are getting things done that were significant to you. The second thing that's going to happen is you're going to notice how much respect you are giving yourself. So if you're lacking respect, meaning you want to be respected by people and you feel that people are not respecting you, let's start by you respecting yourself. And that means you being impeccable with your word to yourself. And of course, the byproduct of that is that when you become impeccable with your word to yourself and you respect yourself by doing and being the things you say you're going to do and be, then it's much easier to follow through with others. And that when you are dependable, when you are reliable, people build more trust with you and your relationship is nourished and enriched by that ability to trust each other. Because when you say you're going to do something, you actually follow through and do it, which also shows respect for the other person. And raise your hand if you don't want to be respected. All of us want to feel respected and valued. And we can do that easily by following through on our word to someone. So those are benefits of creating the structure that supports you to have consistency and follow through so you can meet your objectives, your priorities, and so that you can be reliable and dependable and build trust with your circles of relationships. And that will help you live a more fulfilling life, more connected life, and maybe this feeling of isolation that so many of us are having, where we feel that we are interacting and transacting with people rather than being relational with people, that may go away when you begin to show up for yourself, show up for them in a more powerful way, have more integrity and alignment and congruence between who you want to be and who you're being. And don't forget, with all of this, with structure, with consistency, with follow through, and with respect to yourself and others, it's so important to respect your self care. Don't ever forget about how am I taking care of myself as I go after my goals and my objectives, as I am a high performing leader, as I support my teams. How am I taking care of myself and how am I taking care of them? And if you notice patterns that, ooh, maybe I need to be more self-caring this month because of all the work that I have going on. Likewise for your team, maybe I need to truly help my team and mentor them around how are they taking care of themselves so that they don't burn out, so that I don't burn out. It's important for us to reflect on that and to take proactive steps toward our well-being, our mental, physical, spiritual well-being. And as a leader, it is our responsibility to be the role models. No pressure, simply showing up in a way that those around us can say, wow, look at Ginny, she's taking care of herself. You know what? She's inspiring me to take care of myself. That's all we can do. We don't have to lecture. We don't have to talk down to anyone. Simply show up, doing the thing, and then let others observe and take whatever serves them and leave whatever doesn't. But at least you know that you're showing up in your best, giving yourself grace, giving yourself forgiveness, acknowledging yourself. So once you get clear on what you want, once you identify why is this important to me, what is the time frame in which I'm going to get this done, let me reverse engineer it and figure out what steps I need to take to accomplish that. And once you follow through, because you actually have it on your calendar to get it done, the very last step that I want you to consider is to self-acknowledge, to take a moment, to take a beat and reflect. How did I do? To assess yourself so you can learn about yourself a little more, increase your self-awareness and say, wow, I really did well in this particular area. I really crushed it here. What were the factors that helped me do that? And you will figure out what those were. You were consistent, you showed up, you committed to it, you prioritized it, you didn't push it off, you got it done. And then if that didn't happen, you could also reflect on that. Well, what happened that I wasn't consistent, that I didn't follow through? You may find out that your why wasn't big enough. And so the next time we give ourselves forgiveness, and the next time we focus on, I need to find a big enough why. And if I don't have a big enough why, I need to delete it, I need to delegate it, or I need to figure out what is the big enough why for this item. And you may find that this item is not legit. That is not something that you want to prioritize in your life at this point. And that's okay. That's wonderful that you come to that conclusion. And so the last step of reflection and assessing yourself is what's going to help you continue to get better, continue to improve, and continue to show in your best self. Again, no pressure. This is all happening organically. This is a new lifestyle. This is a new way of being and thinking that is reflecting a growth mindset. Growth mindset doesn't only mean that you like to learn. That's just one aspect of it. Growth mindset also means that you learn from your mistakes, that you take risks, that you push yourself out of your comfort zone, and that when you fail, it's only failure if you don't learn from it. When things don't come out the way you would like them, which most people call that failure, you learn from that experience, you pivot, you tweak, and you try again. And you don't associate your value and your worth with the outcome that you received. Because to do that is to say, if I win, I am valuable. If I lose a deal, if I lose the sale, if I lose the promotion, then I'm not valuable. And that's a fixed mindset. When you tie your value to the outcomes, your value does not decrease simply because you didn't get the outcome you wanted. It simply means something needs to be tweaked. The factors and the circumstances were not the ideal ones. And the next time, based on what you learn from this experience, you will do better. That's all we want. We want a culture of progress, not perfection. I hope this training is supporting you in creating a successful structure that will help you accomplish your goals for the next 12 months. And if this is helpful for you, join our community where you will receive our weekly newsletter every Saturday morning at executivebound.com. And if you would like to connect with me over a complimentary strategy session and talk about what is your why today in your career, in your life, what are the top 3 challenges that you're currently facing, and what is your compelling vision for the next 12 months, if that level of clarity will support you, let's connect. You can always find me at callwithginny.com. Live with purpose, live with joy. I'll see you soon.